Beta 1.8 was a relatively controversial version. It added the hunger system, which was highly scrutinized by the player base, and it made world generation biome-specific, staining Minecraft's world generation for over a decade until 1.18. Despite this, sprinting was added, and some of Minecraft's core structures were too: mineshafts, strongholds, and villages. Join me as I explore the new stuff from a Beta 1.7.3 world. My name is Tag, and this is Minecraft, but every episode is a new version. As demonstrated in my Beta 1.7.3 journey, I have 5 objectives to complete before I can move on to the full release. The first 3 of which are in preparation for the full release: the mob farm for quick XP, a full set of diamond tools, and the collection of 128 lapis to enchant it all. I'll also be exploring a mineshaft and using the new stone bricks. I recently discovered a zombie spawner, so that first objective could be easily whacked out into existence in no time. A simple staircase was made, and I strategically put out the zombie and lit up the spawner. Building the trap didn't take long. So hoppers didn't exist yet. Shut up, Hopper, I'm not talking about you. I could still make a little storage system in the killing chamber below the spawner. After all, rotten flesh is really only going to be beneficial for my dog. You happy now, Hopper? The next objective of getting rich with tools was also able to be swiftly met. My luck with the caves was a big help, and after mining my first clump, I realized the only thing left that I needed was a hoe. That's not what I meant, jackass. That's a diamond. Let's see. 1, 2... Only 2? That's great. I did have enough for a tilling tool. Y'all gotta get your heads out of the gutter. But I also needed enough for an enchantment table, which was not what I had. However, I quickly ran into another lava pool. Having searched the cave system thoroughly, I was convinced there were no diamonds to be found. I immediately went back to strip mining. There's no way. Of course that happened. Having collected 6 more diamonds, I crafted the hoe. I also completely forgot to look for lapis. Despite my epic failure, I managed to tidy up the interior of my place. Finally, I was set to travel to a mineshaft. This wasn't going to be an easy journey, so Hopper was definitely going to need to come along. I made sure that Hopper had his share of nourishment as well. As I made my way to the edge of the Beta 1.7 terrain, I came across a really weird chunk edge. What the fuck? I knew that it was highly unlikely that I would be finding a mineshaft so close to the old terrain, so I crafted a boat and set sail away from the jagged cliffs. I sailed to a nearby island, where Hopper helped my ejection from the watercraft, and I set up camp. There wasn't really a solid way to find a mineshaft, so I decided to simply staircase underground and begin strip mining. This would not be a swift task. It took forever, but I finally reached what I was looking for. Oh. Alright, all I had to do was dig down, I guess. I immediately came across a spider dungeon and made sure to take everything out around it. Then, I started sprinting through the tunnels. I wasn't interested in traveling nearly 1,000 blocks back and forth just to get to the place in the future, so I made a nether portal. That's not a good sign. So I'm probably gonna need to link another portal up. My relationship with Obsidian up to this point was quite a toxic one, and knowing that I would have to deal with it again killed me inside. I was really holding on to hope when I stepped foot into the Nether. I avoided the sites of gas, and as I estimated the coordinates I would need to set up the portal. Yeah! Having returned to my mineshaft and within sight of camp, I immediately set my sights on Hopper. He was the most important thing to me at that moment. You alright? Great. Together, Hopper and I voyaged back home, knowing that the mineshaft could now be easily accessed. I had finally arrived home. With my copious amounts of cobble, I gathered some coal and put some into the furnaces. I plunged back down into the mines to finally get my hands on some lapis. So it turns out I also missed some diamonds on my earlier journeys. Great. I'd gathered over 2 stacks of lapis, enough to get set for enchanting. Up at the surface, I started to get building with the bricks. My plan was to build a stone brick perimeter around my base and top it with fencing. I also focused on some of the wheat and my newly created sugarcane farm inside. After placing the final torches, the base was looking fabulous. It was time to end my journey. I had spent nearly 5 hours in Beta 1.8, and it was certainly something. Hunger was, and definitely still is, a flawed mechanic, but spreading and the new structures definitely would have outweighed that negative if the structures had actually been complete. Villages were added, but no villagers actually existed, and the same goes for strongholds, no end portal. This version was pretty average, and I'd have to get it only a half a point up on the previous version in terms of updates, a 7.5 out of 10. My journey was over in this version, but I knew that the next one was going to be the biggest adventure yet.